sportschatplace.com and pickdogs.com. It is Saturday, June 13th, 2020, here with your live show. Of course, we're here live 7 days a week. Rain or shine, games, no games, it really doesn't matter. We've got nothing else to do, so we just show up here and talk sports. Of course, we've got UFC Fight Night 172 tonight on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Of course, if you don't have ESPN Plus, what you got to do is just go over to sportschatplace.com or pickdogs.com. Look at the top heading of any of our UFC articles. Click on the link, and it'll take you right to ESPN Plus. Thanks to our good friends at ESPN Plus. They have some sort of special promotion. Usually it's like you buy the fight, you get a free year of the regular ESPN Plus, or you sign up for ESPN Plus, you get some kind of great deal. So be sure to check it all out over at Sports Chat Place and pickdogs.com. But anyways, we got Bundesliga action. We've got La Liga action. And boy, yesterday's show was really an exciting Bundesliga and La Liga discussion of about 435 games or something. Then, of course, those the one that's got you all on the edge of your seats, simulated picks for computer games played by computers of some kind of Madden football game of unrealistic player ratings of today's NFL players based on, I think, public perception and nothing else, because skill levels, I don't know, these don't match up to what I see on the field. But anyway, speaking up to matching up what's on the field, we're going to bring in Steve Monahan first and foremost, kind of the way we kind of kick off all the shows. Good morning, Steve. How are you? Can't hear you.
I'm good, Mitch. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just hitting the ground running here on our live show. And Major League Baseball, Andrew McCutchen with this video. I don't understand what the hell he's talking about. They talk about like how talented this guy is. Choose water. You know what? One side is saying, that there's language in there saying that this is up to further negotiation based upon here's, at least we've come to what the sticking point is. A month into the negotiation, now we finally understand what the sticking point is. We thought it was just people digging their heels in the sand, but there actually is a sticking point now. And the sticking point is that the players don't believe that there's language in their agreement that says that based upon fans being in the stands, that there's a renegotiation that could possibly take place. The owner saying this is clearly in the contract. Both lawyers, well, I know how much lawyers can cost, so I'm sure they weren't cheap. So I don't know. I think sometimes in these sort of situations, you got to just let the lawyers talk it out and figure out exactly what happened here.
Yeah, I don't put much stock into this. Rob Manfred said they're going to play 100%. So they got time to play in the sandbox still, but they'll play.
Oh, they're going to play 100%. It's just a matter of how much everyone's getting paid and who's going to take the bath here, because someone's going to take a bath. It's going to be us. I mean, we know that.
Of course.
It's going to be us, but it's like, how much of a bath. Now, Kyrie Irving, who's out for the season in the NBA, who will not even be playing in these games in the bubble, is telling people not to go to the bubble after last week. As one of the 9 player representatives for the NBA, he clearly voted to go to the bubble. Kyrie, of course, spent 1 year in college at Duke University. Very good school. They wouldn't let me in the door. They've let me on campus before, but they wouldn't let me in the door of the actual school. But Kyrie, he gets in, he stays for a year. I think he could have stayed for a few more. Maybe it would have probably done him a world of good, as anyone that gets a chance to get a Duke education certainly should take advantage of it. But Kyrie certainly above that. I guess his School of Hard Knocks of $30 million contracts has educated him beyond his years. But I don't understand how what happened here. What exactly happened here?
I don't know. Kyrie is really starting to grate on me. He blew up Boston. He's opinionated. I don't know why he needs to open his mouth about this, especially the fact that he's hurt and won't even participate. So he's just trying to ruffle feathers, and the NBA is going to play one way or the other too, like baseball. So I don't put much stock in Kyrie, but yes, was it kind of newsworthy because we're hard pressed for sports news. So
Just ridiculous. I just don't.
it's ridiculous. I will
It's
grant you
it's
that.
just. I mean, come on. I don't love the bubble scenario, and I don't think it's absolutely necessary the way that they've set it up. But
Right?
I think that I think there can be an expanded bubble, and I think that some of the players have a pretty good gripe here because they already know what's coming next, and that is the special treatment, that star players are going to get, where they're allowed to come in and go out of the bubble, but everyone else has to stay in the bubble. It's kind of like if you've ever been sent away to boarding school or something like that. Not that, well, all right, I do know about that. It's kind of like if your parents come for Parents' Day, then you kind of can do whatever the hell you want. If your parents don't come, well, you're kind of just stuck there. So
Right.
it's just
The biggest complaint's going to be, like you said, that LeBron gets a Rolls Royce golf cart and back and forth between Disney Village and the seventh player is relegated to silliness like this. This is absolutely going to happen once they convene down at Disney Village. So it's a joke.
absolutely, and I think that the whole plan, of the bubble, even though I was a big proponent of the bubble, right? I wrote Adam Silver, long before the bubble was discussed, about the idea of living in a bubble, right? I mean, not
Right.
necessarily a bubble, but a enclosed place.
Exactly.
I wanted NBA Island. I wanted it to be right here. They decided to go to this bubble, and to be honest with you, we got way less COVID cases than Orlando.
Yeah.
Way less. I mean, it's not even a comparison. But I think that what's going on here with the bubble, the idea of living in the bubble is certainly not appealing. But the thought of not playing basketball is less appealing. These guys have to make a decision, and it's like you can't, if you don't want to play, then you got to say it. We're not playing. This whole thing, baseball, these guys, hockey, everybody, I'm sick of all of you.
Yeah.
The
Right.
NFL, I mean, as much as I've been disgusted by what this game has become, um, I have to say, at least so far, so good. They're saying we're playing, and by the time these other guys start their stuff, they're going to be in camp. I watched last night the Australian. The beauty of living in Hawaii is that those 3:30 a.m. Eastern time start rugby games, and 12:50 a.m. Eastern time start rugby games are on at reasonable hours here. So I watched the rugby last night. Like I said, I don't think there can be any closer contact in sport than that. Even Italy, where was one of the worst COVID places, right? They're starting. They're all restarting. Everyone, why didn't those soccer leagues have the issues that our sports leagues have? Why didn't those guys have the same issues? Maybe we should look at them and see what happened there. I mean, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I could barely sit through the picks.
Right.
I struggle with the picks, and I'm kind of almost deciding to let Rod and Chris just do the picks, and I'll be off camera doing something else because I really add zero value to the segment at this point. But
Well, speaking of COVID, I read this morning the University of Houston had six athletes in various sports test positive. Volunteer working out. I don't know if that's a bad sign or what have you. I don't know. Other than six athletes has tested positive for corona, so I don't know if that's a sign to come that there'll be another wave. I just don't know.
I don't know if there's going to be another wave or not. All I know is that I'm not seeing the deaths and ventilators and all the
Yeah,
things that I saw
I'm saying
3 months ago.
that's
And
right.
I'm seeing, believe me, I've had a sinus infection for 4 months. I'm afraid to go to the damn doctor because I think that's, if I'm going to catch COVID, that's where I'm going to catch it, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, finally I have I have my wisdom teeth are still in my mouth. I broke one because I ate so much damn popcorn, right? It's bound to happen. Broke one. I have to have oral surgery next on Tuesday, and of course, I'll be here on Wednesday. I might be on some good painkillers or something, so it could be an interesting show on Wednesday. I would say to tune in, but I've definitely, after oral, we've done shows after oral surgery before. We've done shows after regular surgery before, and some are better than others. I'll just say that much. But
And then just some other sports news. The Colonial golf tournament down in Texas started on Thursday, so been enjoying watching that. And Harold Varner, the second, is in first right now. I think he's at 11 under. But it's just nice that watching a live sporting
Who's in
event.
second?
Okay, he must have dropped a shot. I just saw it a little bit earlier, but this is the site where Ben Hogan won 5. This is at Ben Hogan's old course, and
Hogan's
Ben
Alley.
Hogan in 1949 got into a car accident, and it was near death, and came back 14 months later and won the tournament. So I just want to acknowledge that it's nice to have golf back.
Yeah, I think Ben Hogan's 2-iron that he hit at Colonial is like an 8-iron for these guys now.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's the difference. Like Gene Sarazen, his double eagle at Augusta is like a 7-iron. He hit like a 3-wood. It's like a 7-iron for these guys.
Sure.
It's so windy here. I hit an 8-iron from 178 yards yesterday. I was over the green on the fly. That's how windy it's been here. I shot back-to-back scores in the 90s the last 2 days. Just brutal. Couldn't hit a putt, though. Yesterday it was more I just couldn't hit a putt. It was the wind got me, but I just could not hit a putt to save my life. I hit the stick like with my wedge. I did everything, man. I just could not hit a putt. No. So, anyways.
But outside of that, nothing really else is going on newsworthy.
No, absolutely not. And I think that, I think it's time for some of these places to either get going or not get going. I think college football will be next. Interesting, that speaking of golf, the Memorial Tournament, Jack Nicklaus Tournament, will be the first tournament with fans in the crowd in Columbus, Ohio, same place as Ohio State, where they're saying they're going to have fans in the stadium for their games. And, oddly enough, Ohio is one of the most freak out states about the COVID, as well. So it's kind of, I think something's got to give, and it's like, we can get into the politics of COVID and we can get into all of that stuff as well. But I don't know. Looking at the stock market, it doesn't seem to be if the idea, if some people have the conspiracy theory that it's to cripple the economy. Well, if that is even if they're right or wrong or whatever, it's not doing that. It's like it hasn't worked. So that's neither here nor there. We're not going to discuss any elections, politics, or anything of that nature. Just heading down a very, very slippery slope, and one that it's way outside my comfort zone. I know zero about it. But anyways, I'm going to bring in the puck dog. Steve, we'll see you in just a little bit.
You got it.
But I'm going to bring in Rod Zawacki, and of course, we'll have Chris Ruffalo as well. I got Steve, not Chris. Let's see. I can't see. And there we go. So, morning, guys.
Morning.
Chris, good morning. Can't hear you. You sound better like this. You there, Chris? Hello?
Would help if I unmuted the mic.
There you go. All right, so we got UFC. We got UFC tonight, and then we have some Bundesliga later on today, and La Liga as well as games tomorrow. So just a few soccer matches to cover. Let's just get those out of the way. Let's start with Bundesliga. Chris, what do we got on tap?
So for this afternoon, top 4 matchup: Bayern Munich against Borussia Mönchengladbach. I'll take Munich on a -1.5 handicap. I think they win this game 2-0. Gladbach's leading scorers missing stupidity for 2 yellow cards in the last game. I'll also take a correct score of 2-0 at +750.
And how about you, Rod?
Not touching this game. Not touching this game with a 10-foot pole.
And then for tomorrow morning, I like Mainz and Augsburg to draw plus 240. I just think these two sides are closer than what the line would suggest, and I think a win would almost guarantee safety for either side. But I'm going to take a stab at either 0-0 at plus 1,000 or 1-1 at plus 550, as well as the draw at plus 240.
I love the draw on that one, and give me the 1-1 final score.
What else we got, Chris?
So we move on to La Liga today at 1:30. Leganes at Valladolid. I'm leaning Leganes at plus 125. This isn't a game I'm looking to bet though.
So next.
Oh, nothing. Okay. And then
I don't know. I didn't even know who you were talking about.
All right.
So you were like Vinci Wucci Hoochie? What?
And then 4 p.m. Mallorca and Barcelona. I'm going Barcelona minus 1.5, minus 130.
Yeah, not touching this Barcelona game either.
All right. So a lot of passing by Rod here. You don't have to bet every single game, that's for sure. Anything else left on the soccer schedule here, Chris?
Just La Liga for tomorrow morning. Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao. I'm taking the draw there as well.
I like Atletico in that one.
Not touching that one either.
It's going to be hard. It's fair to pass on a lot of these in the first week back for La Liga. So
thanks, Chris. I feel better about myself. Anyways, we've got UFC tonight. Return to the Octagon. It's Fight Night 172. So if you haven't been following us all along, I don't blame you because there hasn't been a ton of sports, but we've been here every single day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We've thrown in a few special shows. Rod and I did a Santa Anita Derby show, live picks, and a watch reaction show. We do a Trading Paint segment with Rod and Jeff Jeter. We did it last night for today's Truck Series and Hooters 250. But we also, on these shows, we kind of done a little bit of the educational side because a lot of these sports are new betting sports for a lot of us, like for me as well. You know, you guys know me. I'm a football, college football, right, number one, and then boxing and, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, college basketball, right? These are my games. But, so UFC, something I'm not overly familiar with, but Chris explained to us, a few times now already, what these all mean. A fight night means that these are on regular TV, Chris, or is it on ESPN Plus? Just
I
all
believe it's
regular.
on ESPN Plus.
Oh, ESPN Plus.
Yeah, I believe it's
and
on
probably
ESPN.
and probably a bunch of regular TV channels. I can look, but I'm sure it's fight night.
Yeah, but
Probably
fight night, I believe, has a certain distinction, like where it's like it's all on regular ESPN or all on regular ESPN Plus. We went through this. So
there was another event not too long ago where it was UFC on ESPN 8 or something like that.
That's right. So fight nights are on. They have the undercard on regular ESPN family of networks, and then the main events are on ESPN Plus, which you can get at Sports Chat Plays and at Pick Dogs. You click on the link next to where it says TV and it says like ESPN Plus or something like that. You can click on that link and you can get to, to these different, places. And they usually have some sort of great deal for you, as far as if you sign up through us, because unlike some other people, they actually like us. But anyways, so this one is what we call reasonably priced for the viewer, right? The fight night and the on ESPN, these are the ones where pretty much anyone can watch. ESPN Plus is like, even if you end up paying after your year, for a year, whatever, it's like $3.99 a month or something, right? So these ones usually not quite you're not going to have the Conor McGregor on these cards. You're not going to have, those type of, but you're still going to have some up and comers. And then you're going to have some other guys in the mix generally that have kind of maybe been beaten down a little bit and are maybe trying to work their way back up to those next set of events. So one thing we know about UFC cards is they don't skimp on the content, right? It's not just the 5 fights that are in the main. These guys, they wheel them out for hours, right? One after another. There's no fluff in between. There's no hype. They don't go to the human interest story like, after the third fight or something. It's fight after fight after fight after fight. Looking at the massive undercard, which we have covered both at Sports Chat Place and Pick Dog, Shane is, pretty much the leader in these undercard fights. He's not, on the big fights, he kind of he defers to some of the other guys. He still covers them. He does a great job at it. But he, on these lower fights, that's where he kind of has his, where he's kind of setting the standard for everybody else. Chris, what do you like on these lower, not the big fights, kind of the bottom half of the UFC card tonight? Anything that we should really be looking for? Because we've seen some great fights in these lower ones. We've seen some, not quite the skill level as Burns or something, right? But we see, Burns' cousin, can come in and all of a sudden it's like, wow, he's pretty good too, right? So what are we looking for on this undercard?
One fight I'm looking at is one specific fighter is Anthony Ivy. He was supposed to make his debut against Rod's buddy Mearshart at UFC 250, but Mearshart's opponent was ready to go, so Ivy got pushed back a little bit. But he's probably going to be one of the next up-and-coming guys at welterweight. He's pretty big for that weight class, 262. He's going to fight Christian Aguilera, who's standing at 5'9". Ivy's just a much better wrestler here. I think that's the difference. He takes him to the mat, and Aguilera has great hands, but he tends to get taken down and spend a lot of the time on his back playing defense. So I'll take Anthony Ivy, minus 190.
Rod, you got any thoughts on the Ivy fight or any other fights on these undercards?
I have nothing on these prelims. I don't like any of these prelims at all.
Zero.
I'm not paying 190 with Ivy.
I don't think
and I can't take a dog.
I gotta say, I've never seen Rod no action this many events in one show. This is, I think we've hit the solid over on the Zawacki no actions here.
No action. If it's not there, I'm not going to push it, right?
Hey.
I just don't feel that it's there. I'm not going to do it.
I mean, do I ever chase? All right, I chase. It's like,
it depends.
I know I said I was only going to put.
I'm
like at the craps table. At the craps table, I know I said I was only going to put this much down on the table, but
Now, if this was the only thing to bet tonight, then I might be putting a little more action.
Yeah, I will say I'm going to leave this for a parlay. Minus 190 is a little bit steep, but
okay. So you have anything else on any of the undercards, Chris? There's how many undercard fights here?
There's going to be five undercard and 5 main card. I'm just trying to see if this one got moved up to the main card. Yeah, I don't see anything else for the undercard for me either.
All right, so we move on to the main card.
Yeah.
All right. So the Vettor and who's he fighting?
Carl Roberson.
Yeah, both didn't make weight, so they still fight, right? Is the way this works? Do they get docked? Is that how the pay or something? Yeah,
they'll both get docked a percentage of their purse. From what I was reading, Roberson, he missed weight by about 4.5 pounds. So he was probably going to lose about 30% of his purse for the fight.
Are any of the fights canceled tonight?
There was one fight that was canceled. It was the Derek Minner fight against Jordan Griffin because Minner, due to his weight cut, he was having some serious health issues. He said he was nauseous for about 6-7 hours straight. He couldn't get up. He was out of commission. They deemed him unfit to fight, so that fight got canceled and pulled from the event.
Nice. All right, so Rod didn't have a pick on that one anyway for tonight, so no harm, no foul. Anyways, Chris, what do we like in these main events and on the big card?
One fight I'm looking at is Maria Agapova and Hannah Cifers. Hannah Cifers sounds familiar because she only fought Mackenzie Dern 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
And she
was
stepped
winning.
up to take this. She steps up to take this fight on on short notice. The problem is that she's now fighting basically 2 weight classes above what she should be fighting at.
Oof.
This is at 125. The only reason she fights at 115 is because UFC doesn't have a 105-pound class, which is where she should be. Maria Agapova, she's got 5 inches taller on her. She's got an 8-inch reach advantage. I don't think this is good for Hannah Cifers at all. I'm going to take Maria Agapova to win inside the distance at plus 165. I'm not playing at minus 350 for this.
You think she was given some sort of incentive to take this fight, right?
Probably. There are some people who just want to fight for the sake of.
It can't be good for your career. It can't be good for your career.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a shot with her. Give me a shot.
With who?
With Cypress. Give me Cypress money line. Plus 265.
So the last time we saw Cypher, she was ahead in the fight against Stern, and she was doing one of my favorite moves, and that's the knee to the face. And she was super effective at it. Chris was saying there's a serious size disadvantage here as far as height. So those knees and kicks to the face probably going to be a little bit more difficult to come by. She was not great on the ground last time. That's where, as a matter of fact, she met her demise, as you would say, and was caught in some kind of weird leg lock jiu-jitsu move where she almost got her leg snapped right off of her body. Chris, what is she going to have a better chance on the ground here? Because I mean, obviously Dern is more than above average on the ground with the jiu-jitsu background.
Yeah, no, Dern is more of a submission specialist. So if Hannah Cifers can get Agapova to the ground, she might have a shot. But the problem is, I've seen Agapova. She's a rangy striker. She'll use that reach advantage to her advantage, and she's got some nasty ground and pound as well. So if Cifers gets in a compromising position, this could be a bad spot for Cifers as well.
So look out for the hammer fist. Rod, What are you looking at on tonight's main card?
The second fight on today's main card, you've got Andre Fili versus Charles Jourdain. This fight is a featherweight fight, and for me, I like Jourdain in this fight. He's relatively new to the UFC, but not to the fight game. This will be his only third fight, but he, as an underdog, I'll take him plus 175. I think he comes here and.
So who's the pick?
Take Charles Jourdain money line plus 175.
When you say, some people just tune in, so when you say take him,
take Charles Jourdain.
You're saying it. You're saying it anyway. You might as well say who you're taking. Chris, who do you like in this one?
I'm actually on Charles Jourdain as well. He's one of my top picks for the night. I think the smaller cage is going to come into effect here. Jourdain. I watched his fight against Doo Ho Choi in December last year, mainly because I was interested in the Canadian content, and he came from behind and caught Choi with a nasty left hook. I think he's got some pop, so I'm going to take Jourdain money line plus 175, as well as a bit of action on Jourdain by KO or TKO at plus 350.
Okay, let's take us to our next fight. Who else do you like?
For me, I'm going straight to the main event. I'm going to take Cynthia Calvillo against Jessica Ai. I mentioned the weight cut with Carl Robeson earlier, and the lights all just went out. Technical difficulties. We mentioned the weight cuts earlier. I think Jessica Ai did her photo op at the weigh-in.
It would have been great if his eyes lit up like red or something, right?
Like red or something. Went,
I'll be back.
There we go.
You shouldn't drink and bake.
We saw the weight cuts. Jessica Ai was doing her photo op for the media, and she said she couldn't stand. So you're having a fighter that's having trouble standing, probably not at 100% again, in between two fighters that probably go the distance more often than they don't. Now, I'll take Cynthia Calvillo here money line. I'll also take her by decision at plus 220.
All right. How about you, Rod?
I'll take Calvillo as well. Give me Calvillo on the money line.
Just a lot of love.
Jessica Ai. Jessica Ai is in trouble.
All right.
Any other fight I like?
Yes.
One more fight I like. You got Espinoza versus Mark De La Rosa.
De La Rosa.
The only problem is De La Rosa ain't won a fight since 2018. He's not very good. So I'm going to take the experienced fighter here.
We
Espinoza's
saw
going
a
down to
guy
the
that
UFC.
hadn't. We saw a guy recently that hadn't won Orlov, right? Recently that hadn't won in a while, and
Yeah, but I liked Orlov. No, he was beast.
right, but
Last UFC event, we seen somebody who hadn't won in 2016, and if I recall, he got beat.
all right.
And Cody Garbrandt got the win in that fight too. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna take Espinoza on the money line in this bantamweight fight. Give me Espinoza money line -175.
Chris, any thoughts on that?
no, not on that one for me.
All right, so that wraps up the UFC, or we got any more picks? You guys got a birdcage or anything?
I got a four-way parlay.
All right,
Take,
a simple 14 parlay.
And take Calvillo, Jourdain, Agapova, and Ivy all just to win outright. Should be about plus 850.
Plus 850. It's that easy.
And I'm taking Charles Jourdain money line, Espinoza money line, and Cavillo money line. Should give you about 5-1 on your money.
There you go. We're going to bring Steve Monahan back in, and we are going to discuss simulated picks on games played by computers. Chris,
Nice.
how did we do yesterday?
So yesterday, the Redskins beat up on the Dolphins 37-10.
So you're saying my money line pick on the Dolphins wasn't very good. Okay.
No.
Yeah, mine either. So
The Colts beat the Bears outright 33-26.
Made it back up on the Colts money line.
Patriots beat the Falcons 33-20.
Easy money.
And
they did not cover.
Yeah,
It was 6.5, wasn't it?
Yeah, 33-20.
Oh, 33-20.
Yeah, it was a beatdown.
My bad.
Epic proportions.
No,
And,
that was lucky. They got lucky.
It was a simulated beatdown.
And the Seahawks beat the Vikings outright 37-24.
3-1. It's that easy.
2-2.
I'll take 2-2.
Okay. So we got
We'll
we got the new
Kings on the puck line +175.
This was given to me by Frank for good luck on the show.
The Buddha.
Yes,
Wow.
we will. Those of you that
Buddha, good luck.
those of you that don't know about how the Buddha works, you rub the belly for good luck, the ears for wisdom, and the hands for money.
For money. Yeah.
We're basically molesting the Buddha over
Yeah.
here. I'm having my way with the Buddha.
You're massaging the Buddha.
It's actually a little creepy. Anyways, Chris, what do we got today?
That explains why so many people were trying to rub my belly in Vegas.
Yeah, we can win. Come on.
Try
Hard seven. Come on.
Try running through the Hard Rock, people chasing after you for the Pai Gow table. 12 Eastern, Raiders -6 against the Dolphins.
Dolphins money line.
Raiders.
I'm going Raiders.
Raiders.
At 3 Eastern, Bears -2.5 against the Rams.
Rams
In the Rams.
money line.
Rams.
Bears.
7 Eastern, 49ers -6 at the Steelers.
Steelers
In the
money
snow.
line.
49ers.
I'll take the Steelers. And the last one, Packers -3.5 at the Chiefs. I'll take the Packers.
Chiefs money line.
Chiefs.
All dogs, all on the money line for me. In case you joined us late, we had a hell of a show today. Really exciting La Liga and Bundesliga picks. It's great. Steve talked about Major League Baseball and really shared the love with Kyrie Irving there. Just
Love fest.
yeah, it was a big man crush type thing. You know,
Yeah.
it was like And then Rod passed on a lot of games, and then these guys did some UFC picks. So pretty good show there. And if you are just joining us for the first time or just coming back, we're still here every day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to continue forever. We do here 365 days a year. Next Wednesday, special show, post-surgery for me. So usually those are pretty exciting. As no one does the show. No one does the show as in a drugged out haze like I do. At least that's what I've been told. So we'll have to see how that one goes. But definitely something to tailgate and maybe we should put a countdown timer, like how they say 2 days and 4 hours away from the thing. It's any idea what you guys want to take bets on what kind of prescriptions I'm going to get here on this type of thing? Percocets?
Yeah, you'll definitely. I'll go with oxycodone. You're gonna get some oxycodone.
I think so.
I've had the wisdom surgery before.
Yeah, this is not wisdom surgery. I have a cracked tooth, so it's like I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, they're gonna get it replaced, and then they're gonna shove it right back in there.
No, not on a wisdom tooth. They don't shove it back in. They just
crown.
Not on a wisdom tooth. They don't.
No. Okay.
Nah,
I'll just pull it out.
They just pull it out. If it's like a
pair of pliers, you're good to go.
I mean, a few years ago when we first started the live show, and I did do the post and crown. We did the audience poll as to should I get the white porcelain tooth or the gold tooth. We all know how that one turned out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boy, she's a beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a beauty.
Yeah. Next will be the grill, right? Mitch across the front.
Pick dogs across the top.
It was like when Macho Camacho used to wear the license plate coming into the ring. It was like I used to say, "I'm getting one." Says Mitch. Of course, along with my El Gato neck tat. Anyways, have a great day, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. Countdown to the drug-induced, whatever it is. Could be some drooling on that one. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you later on. Two NASCAR races. If you came in looking for NASCAR picks, we did that show last night with Jeff Jeter, and we'll see how they do. Jeter on the heater, hitting the last 2 NASCAR races. We did the Truck Series and the Hooters 250. Those are from Homestead Racetrack, and then tomorrow Jeter will join us here live for this show. But have a great day, everyone. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.